Hey, I'm trying to get a proposal out on Friday. Can you send me the latest version of the data real quick? And you say, fine. You'll keep asking me for the data. End up creating this one-time export. And you say, fine, here you go. Well, it turns out that one thing that you did with analysis that, again, is now particularly well documented because the last video, right? You end up sending this to a person, and that person sends it to 2 people, who sends it to 4 people, and all of a sudden there's 10 versions of the information. Sales has got a version that they, again, modified, played with, again, in not a very well documented way. There's ops, there's an impact version, and all of a sudden when someone starts talking about a concept like, a customer or revenue or a beneficiary, you end up having 3 or 4 different versions, right? So this is what exec or senior managers will say. There's no one version of the truth, and they get very annoyed about something like that. So you might think that the solution is to build a data warehouse, and people spend a lot of money doing something like this. But the problem is not that. The problem is that there was no intentionality associated with how key signal, in this case a data set, was propagated throughout the organization, right? And if you don't have intentionality, then you definitely don't have lineage, because you don't even remember where that information came from. You don't remember why it was generated, what the assumptions were, right? And we're going to get into that in future videos as well. But the important thing is, if you have information that's useful, it has to be kept alive by somebody. Now we're talking about governance. And there can be no governance with no intentionality, right? So this is why a tool is never going to solve a problem that you can solve with pen and paper by just walking up to people and saying, where did you get this information? Why was it useful to you? And what are you planning to do with something like this? These are the key components that it just takes conversation, honestly. It doesn't take tooling. Walk around and figure out what are the main data sets that your organization is using to make decisions, and then figure out what other departments are doing with that information. If you just document those 2 things, again, honestly, with a pen and paper, you'll be off to a wonderful start. I hope that was helpful.